So welcome back, day 5 of our exploration of the creation story in Genesis chapter 1. Then God said, "Let the waters abound with an abundance of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens." So God created great sea creatures and every living thing that moves, with which the waters abounded, according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." So the evening and the morning were the 5th day. So there's a couple of interesting things to notice about that first verse. The words used here of the creatures in the waters, abound and abundance, really don't quite cut it. Certainly it portrays the image of a large quantity, but when you look at the concordance, these words actually mean teem, swarm, and multiply. So it's not just that there's a lot of them, this is a living, active, moving force. When it talks about the birds, we're probably better to translate that flying things. So it would include flying insects as well, not just birds. And I'll just note also, there's a poetic connection in both of those groups of creatures. We see it in the English with the first word abound and abundance, but there's also a mirroring of flying things that fly. Then we also have this command in verse 22, God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." And I wonder why that's necessary, because if you think about that meaning of the word abound and abundance as multiplying, it's very clearly already going on. So what's going on here? These are two domains which we have conscious awareness of, but they're kind of out of our reach, out of our control, something that we don't really have a grasp of what's going on. And I think this is a picture of the human mind. Now, why do I say that? Well, let's dive into some of the ways in which these images are used elsewhere in Scripture. So in Matthew chapter 13, Jesus tells a parable of the dragnet. "Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a dragnet that was cast into the sea and gathered some of every kind, which when it was full they drew to shore, and they sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but threw the bad away." Now that's a parable of judgment, but if you think about it also, this is the processing of the healthy mind. This is what we do with our mental traffic. We sort through and sift the various things that come into our mind. What is helpful and what can I use? What is harmful that I need to throw away and discard? This is what we do on a daily basis with that traffic going through our head. And then earlier in the same gospel, Matthew chapter 4, Jesus begins to gather his band of disciples together. So chapter 4, verse 18 and 19. "And Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brothers, Simon called Peter and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. Then he said to them, 'Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men.'" Now, why does Jesus compare people to fish? Is it that he's asking the disciples to come and catch a wide variety of people and bring them, compel them to come into the church? Well, that's one way we might look at it, but I think there's another. Think about the way that religions and philosophies make new converts. Indeed, you can look at what goes on here in YouTube, in our channel and in other channels. This is a place where ideas are exchanged, where we have discussions, where we gather together concepts and construct our thinking. This is where new understandings are formed. And it's not only religion is doing this. Atheism, every modern philosophy does the same thing. We are bringing together ideas and constructing a new way of looking at the world. And, you know, we even say when something grabs our attention that we are hooked. And then if we leave the seas for a moment and head to the skies, I want to share one of my favourite passages from Isaiah chapter 40, right at the end. Have you not known? Have you not heard? The everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might he increases strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And I think about the image of an eagle soaring in the sky. That majestic sight, if you've ever seen it. And they have this very keen sense of sight, such that, you know, the tiniest speck on the landscape below them can attract their attention, and they can find their prey, their food. For me, that's an image of us. When we dedicate our lives to any principle which is higher than ourselves, suddenly everything falls into order, falls into place. We have a higher perspective of things that orders everything below us, where so often we can get caught up in the day-to-day activities of life, such that we, as we say, we can't see the wood for the trees. We don't get a sense of the order around us. We need that higher perspective which brings order to what we see below us. And as I look at this story, I realise that it's not so much the things described here of suddenly coming into being, but rather it's a new awareness of what is going on. We begin to see the order in things and the patterns of our life more clearly, such that they no longer control us. We're able to look down on our lower nature and see, perhaps for the first time, what is truly going on. The other thing is, I'll say, as I've said before, I'm certainly not attempting to be exhaustive here. This is just an opportunity to explore different aspects of what the Bible teaches us and a different way of looking at it. I hope that what I share with you brings you new insights, and I look forward to discussing what those are with you in the comments. Keep it friendly. I look forward to seeing you next time.